garnered from them. So very, very nicely done. Going up against Moises, who was coming into the offseason as a bit of an underdog, but was able to win a tournament with Steven Universe, and has been on a bit of a tear ever since, consistently placing high up on our brackets. So I'm very, very excited to see. We have seen Moises beat Motz in the past, so we'll see how they go as we go into Trophy's Edge for this initial best of 5 match.
I will say that Motz is probably the other player currently in the tournament that really likes to use that parry button. Harley Quinn, one of the, I guess, winners of the parry changes, able to get huge damage off if they land the parry. That being said, it looks like they decided to go to neutral corners immediately, and Moises, losing a friend immediately. But that being said, getting a lot of openings onto the Harley Quinn. Motz having a hard time getting into the Steven. Steven able to create a lot of terrain. Makes it really difficult to approach Steven in the ones. You see the shields on the screen. And now we see Steven asking Motz to stop camping, but I'm not entirely sure that's what's going on. Motz trying to get into Steven, but they're being constantly an obstacle in the way as the heat numbers even up. Actually, Motz getting a small lead at 62 to 57, now 72 to 60. Motz trying their best to get some sort of big opening, as we see so with the Sair into the hammer hit. Fully charged Nair, able to close out Steven's first stock. I was honestly not expecting that to happen there.
Very, very nicely done from Motz, and we'll see he continues to apply that pressure, getting Steven very, very close to the edge. Moises in a risky position, is able to get the clap attack off and eliminate Motz there, evening up the life count one apiece. 48 to 47. This is all of a sudden a very, very even game. Like we say, we've seen Moises sort of take out Motz in the past in our off season. Very much was the dark horse of the run, but performed very, very well. Gets a second elimination there. Is obviously a bit of a risky position here. At 108, could be eliminated right here with the charged hammer. There goes the clone as well. Going into 0-0 for our final stock in this matchup. But it's been very, very back and forth so far. Again, two very evenly matched players. Does ricochet off of the shield, which allows for a bit of a juggle, but is answering back with some very, very nice damage over to Motz. 32 to 74.
That Ignite actually doing a decent amount of damage as we see that parry come out. Like I said, Harley's a little bit of a big winner when it comes to the parry changes. And is able to close out that first stock using that parry, using that hammer to just launch Steven into the blast zone. A big thing that you might notice is that Steven seems tanky in a lot of matchups, but Steven is quite light and actually gets the launch to really far, especially when you use the big hits.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to work.
And honestly, Harley is one of those characters that will take advantage of that regardless. The clone usually makes it a little bit difficult for people to get in, especially in ones. But we can see Motz dancing around the attacks over and over again, quite gracefully. We do see Moices taking advantage of Motz's passiveness though, but Motz doing tripping away, I guess, at Steven using those parries over and over again, while Steven tries to open up Motz using the dodges. The moment that either of these players go into burnout, it becomes really scary, because that's when we both know that all of a sudden they're gonna take a shit ton of damage.
Absolutely, both of these guys have the ability to dish out a lot of pain very, very quickly. Steven having the support of that clone is also a rather big factor, allows him to control a lot more of the space. Motz was able to gain control of the ledge. Another beautiful parry there from Motz, but he wasn't able to follow it up, and Moices does get the initial elimination, obviously, at a very risky position themselves at 86. Another beautiful parry there from Motz, but Moises again able to avoid most of the punishment from that parry, does get eliminated by the hammer, and we are now at 0-7, basically a fresh restart for both these guys. 5 minutes on the clock. The clone is brought back out as Motz seemingly trying to deal as much damage as possible, but of course with Motz being distracted by the clone, Moises is able to get in and try and deal a little bit of damage. Does finally get rid of the clone, but has been punished a little bit in terms of 41 damage applied to their heat level. There is the bat bomb that detonates wonderfully into a beautiful bat strike that, you know, doesn't quite eliminate Steven, who's a little bit on the heavier side as far as the character goes, able to dodge away from that bat bomb, but did deal a lot of very, very much needed damage. 102-85 as Steven now slightly heal himself a little bit, trying to get that little bit of advantage, but eliminates the clone once again. Steven able to hold on. Another parry from Motz, but yet another nice dodge from Moices, and does get the stock count going in. 4 minutes on the clock. Are we going to see it evened up? No. Moises just able to stay alive. Trying to go for the juggle, but doesn't succeed on this occasion. There's the elimination we needed.
It really feels like Motz is missing these confirms that we know Motz for pretty consistently. That, of course, as soon as I say that, starts up a combo. And it really looks like Motz is not paying attention to whether or not the KO was from the clone or from Moises himself. But it doesn't matter when you KO the clone and then all of a sudden the Steven's alone. I feel like I curse everyone when I start talking about them, CJ.
You just curse people in general, in my experience. Doesn't matter whether you're talking about them or not.
That's fair. As we go into game 3, Moises is having a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, needing to make sure to close out this game to stay in winner's side. That being said, what? 2 in a row? 3 in a row! You can't. No, Moises, you can't. You can't let him do that to you.
It's already been done. Motz is now a point up as we see juggling across the wall, but fluffs it at the last moment. Moices is able to make most of the situation, has taken a fair bit of damage for it, but was able to even up the stock count using those shields to try and juggle Harley up to the edge of the screen for the elimination, but was able to hold on Motz on this occasion. And now we're seeing the cycle of explosions. There's another parry from Motz. Again, these two are very evenly matched in terms of damage output, but Motz able to get the elimination on Moices. 76-0 now, as Moises tries to get that elimination to follow up. Was able to avoid the projectile there. Very defensive kit Steven has. Is very good at nullifying projectiles and the like. Hits him with the belly shield there as well. Motz desperately trying to stay alive at the edge of the screen, potentially trying to lure Moises in. Able to avoid the elimination with use of the hammer, but it was only a matter of time. Moises able to even up the score once again, 11-0 to go on a final stock. It is match point for Motz at this time.
Oh my god. Motz is really feeling himself. I don't know if Motz unstoppable. Unstoppable. Honestly, we see the parries come out over and over again and catches Steven behind using that nair. That nair actually reaches so far behind where Harley is. It like really drags people forward. 46 to 62. Motz realizing that he needs to actually close up this game. Starts sweating a little bit now. Tries to use the launch off the platform. Finally able to close it out with that nair.